What's up, guys? Craig Mack here, Liberty Bell Beekeeper. So it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there in the U.S. Today I'm out back in the garden. Well, all weekend I've been out here in the garden, and for those of you that don't know, I can show you what I've got going on here. So I got a bunch of these raised beds. I cut the number down. I used to have a bunch more, but I cut the number down because it was just too much work. These were 55-gallon drums cut in half and suspended on these chain link fence frames. So right now I got 26, 30 something, 32, something like that of these half gallons. I got a bunch more of these drums. I got holes in them from past water systems. As you can see there, they got hoses, so I'm probably going to cut a bunch of these down and make them planters for some larger stuff. But this is my garden beds. Now I haven't done all the soil work in it. Some of it's pretty good, some of it, like these down here, are a lot of famous Pennsylvania clay soil, so I got to break them up and add some potting soil and compost and all that stuff just to get it to be nicer soil to work with. It's great for holding water, but not so great for growing anything but weeds here in Pennsylvania. So what I did this weekend was finally get my water system hooked up. So the barrels have been done for a few weeks now. I put a roof on it, and I'm going to drape something over this to protect it from sun. PVC is great, lasts a long time, but it is susceptible to UV, and it will get dry and brittle and break oftentimes in the wintertime after the sun's been beating on it. So I'm going to hang a curtain on it similar to what I got here. This is billboard vinyl. A few years back I got about a pallet worth of it, so it comes in real handy for all kinds of stuff, drop cloths and temporary tarps, all that stuff. It's not completely waterproof, but it works really good in a situation like this where water's just going to shed off of it. Basically what I have under here is my irrigation system. Timer, outlet, transfer pump. This is a 3/4 horse transfer pump. Harbor Freight had these on sale this week, I think through the end of the month. If you're a member there, they were like $100, $120. Great pump, strong, all good. So what the pump does is it feeds out of this. This is my fert tank. This has got nutrients in it, liquid fertilizer. So it's going to pull from this tank, send it up over the hose, through a splitter, into the irrigation sprayer nozzles, which I have 2 on each of these. Took me a little while to work it out, to get it to where they're all spraying. What I ended up basically having to do was feed supply into one end, which is actually this end, and then run a hose to the other side, basically in the middle of the system. And that pressure from both sides makes all of these spray. Initially it was just dripping. I was trying to run all the pressure in a single line, and it just doesn't work. You got to supply pressure somewhere in the middle of that system, and then the pressure of forcing water in from both ends solved my issue of the sprayers not spraying. So now they're all spraying. It's all hooked up on a timer. Everything's good to go, ready to go for that. The other system I have is a hydroponic system, which is not fully operational yet because the plants aren't in it, obviously. I still have more holes to drill. This will house something like 100 plants. It's fed from a 55-gallon tank, which has a submersible pump in it that pumps up through this into the top of the system, and then of course it runs around the corkscrew and then feeds back into this drum. Again, this is going to house about 100 plants. I think I'm going to add some more support wire just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere when the weight of the plants gets in here. And I'm doing leafy greens, green beans, broccoli, all the stuff that I eat regularly. This is a little greenhouse that I made from some old window sashes. Right now I have some seeds started in here. Open this up, show you. I don't know if any of you have ever tried this, but this seed snail method is really good. It works fantastically. This is buckwheat. It sprouted in, this is like 4 days. It's already growing really good. Got some basil, spider plant, and this is water hyssop. That'll act as a waterer for the bees. I just haven't had it outside yet because it is a bit too cold for this. This is not a this plant cannot tolerate cold. It's not really meant for this region. But these seed snails are amazing. I love them. Amazing way to plant a lot of plants, get a lot of things started in a small area. This is probably something like 200 plants in this area. So that's really working. I'm really happy about that. Glad to find that on Instagram and make it work. So there's the system. There's the garden. There's the train. Really looking forward to gardening this year. I spent absolutely no time on it last year, and this year leading up to the season I spent a lot of time prepping this to be as maintenance free as possible with the water tanks. Basically I'm just going to have 2 tanks that I got to keep an eye on and keep filled. I'm working on a system to keep them filled on their own with a float valve, but I don't know if I'm going to go that far. Filling 2 tanks is not as bad as having to water this whole thing. Having to water this whole thing was a nightmare. It took like an hour plus worth of time, and it just killed me. So having the automatic irrigation system is saving me a ton of time and pretty much taking me out of the equation and keeping my garden going. So whenever you're doing container gardens, moisture is always an issue. You got to keep on top of it or it dries out real quick. Same thing with the hydroponic system. This will run, again, pretty much maintenance free. As long as the pump's running, the system should be fine. So I'm really excited to get everything planted. I'm going to plant some stuff up today because it is Mother's Day here. That's been kind of the thing. Plant on Mother's Day and you should be all right. So super excited about the system. So glad that it's finally hooked up and ready for planting. And I'm going to get to it later.